Welcome to Racquet World here on ESPN Classic. On today's show, we're going to be discussing strategy, so we brought in the 2006 Racquet Whiff champion, Arthur Big Mac MacArthur. Arthur, how you feeling?
Pretty good, thanks buddy.
Alright, it's Lima Bean actually, but we'll get to that later. See, the game has changed quite a bit since I, your host, Gerald Lima Bean Wallace, not Butterbean, but Lima Bean Wallace, the game has changed a little bit. So we're going to discuss today's game, and we're going to do that by analyzing a few clips. Me and Big Mac here went out on the courts earlier today and dusted off the shorts, and we had a few balls around. It was pretty good times. Let's look at this first clip here. Well, it's kind of hard to get the game off the ground, if you know what I mean, if you don't serve the ball. So back in the day, we did things a little differently. We kicked the ball, to start off the ground, and maybe a little behind the back. We're a little fancy, but we got it done. Today's game, however, is a little bit more technical. How do you describe today's serve, Robert?
Yes, Lima Bean. Today's serve is not quite as fancy as those of your era. We've made it a little better. We like to serve, underhand or overhand, behind the back. Yeah, it's kind of old style.
Well, maybe distinguished. But all right. So the first step here. What would you say the first step for someone learning to serve here?
Well, first you got to make sure you bend your knees. That's the key. If you get your knees locked, then you're just not in a good position. So you want to bend those knees.
All right. So bend the knees, underhand, overhand. Anything else the viewers need to know before they go out on the courts themselves?
Hold your racket out and hold the ball out and give it a good toss and you just give it a whack.
All right, a little stale approach. I'll grant you that, but the Lima Bean likes it. We'll approve.
They won me 2 straight racquetball championships.
I won 1, but it was a good one. But again, that was 30 years ago. All right, so let's move on to this next clip. Wouldn't be much of a strategy show if we didn't talk about strategy, would it? Yeah. All right, so let's talk about wall approaches. Now, there's a couple different approaches to approaching a wall. Back in the day, we did things a little differently. Talk to us about the wall a little bit. As you see, we have a couple different equations. The older equation, a little bit simpler, a little bit more easier to understand. Today's game, we got a newer equation, a newer approach to the wall. Talk to us about that.
Okay, what you need to remember is you can't run through the wall, but you can run into the wall.
Really?
There's a big difference there.
Is there now?
Yes.
Okay.
This equation clearly states that when you run into a wall, you bounce back.
Okay, so you've got a wall, and you can't go through the wall, but you can bounce back from the wall.
That is correct.
Okay, so then you hit the ball and it goes somewhere over there. All right, I got you. All right, I'm learning here, folks. I'm learning. You can teach an old dog some new tricks here. All right. Well, my approach to the wall is a little interesting, I guess. See, we acknowledge that there are in fact 4. I've counted them before. There are in fact 4 walls. 1, 2, 3, 4. And see, when the ball is coming here, as you can tell in this clip right here, that I actually use the wall and come off the wall and continue to keep the ball in play. It's a little bit older of a strategy, but it works. I got a little spruce in my legs. I can still pull it off. I like it, but the new approach is quite interesting. Little controversial, but again, 2 champions to the 1. So I think we'll take the Big Mac's word on this one. Let's talk about something more fundamental, keeping your eye on the ball. Not your ball in the eye, but definitely your eye on the ball. Let's talk about it a little bit. There was a little incident earlier today that we'd like to talk about, to demonstrate for the viewers. It was staged, right?
It was more like a lucky shot. I would say a lucky shot.
All right. So walk us through here. Walk us through exactly what happened in that clip.
Well, what I think what happened was you were standing right about there. That's you.
All right.
I was standing right about there. That's me.
All right. Write that down so we don't forget.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Okay, now what happened was I hit a shot right there,
Right.
and you were looking that way and
Oh,
didn't
right.
see the ball coming at you.
Ball going that way. I see. So my eyes were facing this way. Ball was coming this way. My eyes should be that way. But the ball doesn't need to be on my eye. My eye needs to be on the ball.
Right.
Okay.
In this case, the ball was on the back of your head.
Right. Right.
I mean, sometimes it happens, even to the best of us. So.
All right, we're going to talk about the Lima's, you might call it what made me who I am today. We're talking about airtime here, folks. All right, as you notice in this clip right here, I got significant airtime on my jump. I think it was a good 10 feet, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
10 feet?
Roughly, it was a rough estimate, 10 or maybe a little less. But you know, off the ground, you'll notice my approach about 2-3 steps, and then off the ground, way up there, ball's over here. Victory was practically mine at that point. So you'll see it's not one mini can perfect, can move, but hopefully as you progress in your game, you'll be able to perfect the lineman technique right there. Alright, one thing we definitely can agree upon is the between the legs approach. It'll come in handy, but you might want to exercise some caution at home. It can be dangerous, won't lie, so you should probably leave it to the professionals, but don't be afraid. If you're a little risky, you can try it out at home, but with your parents' permission, of course. You know, upcoming up, we do have a very interesting tournament. It's the biggest one of the year. It's the Rockin Racquetball Renteria. It's one where all the greatest, the youngest, everyone comes out. It's a great showing, great tournament, and hopefully, after today's segment, you'll be able to be better prepared for this tournament coming up. Big Mac, what's your advice, your parting words to the great viewers out there?
My parting advice would probably be to practice. You know, I practice twice a week, and you know, it won me 2 championships. You know, some people say practice, but I just say practice. Come on, that's for kids. The pros don't need to practice.
There you have it, folks. Practice not required. All right. Thanks for joining us on ESPN 26 or 15 or wherever we are, and hope to see you next week. Thank you.